Recording in progress. Episode 22, everybody. We are joined here with Sam from Sam's
Tiki
I get it wrong every time. Tiki Sam's, not Sam's Tiki. Tiki Sam's Pizza. And where are you based out of, Sam?
I'm in Jackson, Michigan.
So it's
actually Hanover, Michigan, if you want to get technical. So it's a little south of Jackson.
And how long you been doing the truck?
I just finished up my 6th year.
Congratulations. That's a pretty good feat considering 3 of those were during pandemic.
Yeah, exactly.
So what was your previous life? Were you a food guy or did you come from corporate America?
I came from corporate America. I was in IT. I fixed computers for 17 years. So, but that's a young man's game. I can't keep up with that anymore. And so I just bailed on all things tech.
I don't blame you. I did. So I kind of came from the same area. I did some higher level help desk stuff for an energy company and kind of headed up their security and stuff. And it was the least satisfying job ever, I guess.
Yeah.
I loved it.
It's no fun to, like to me, it's no fun because, it's like, hey, everything's a problem. My printer won't work. I can't get online. I can't get my email, blah, blah, blah. And those are all problems. And now with the food truck, like everything's, hey, the pizza guy's here. Nobody's ever sad to see the pizza guy coming, And so, or the barbecue guy or the taco guy or whatever the truck is. Nobody's ever sad to see it coming. So, to me, this is a much better space to be in.
Yeah, a busy day now is great. A busy day in the tech field is usually awful. Something awful has happened.
It's usually an all-nighter. You're trying to fix the freaking Exchange server, like whatever. Whatever.
Yeah, my worst experience was when we built a new headquarters and we had to physically move the server room overnight. And we ended up being on site for almost 48 straight hours. So, yeah, it was awesome.
Been there, done that.
When we moved into the new building, there was no furniture in that building yet. So none of the lounge furniture was there. So we were taking naps on cardboard like homeless people in the server room. It was great.
Yeah.
It was at that point I was like, well, maybe the money's not worth it. But,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, you guys are all tech guys. I'm a mortgage guy, so I have no idea what the hell you guys are talking about. So just to try to change the subject and keep this moving a little bit, you guys are reminiscing about old jobs.
Do it. Keep us on track. Let's go.
I've gotten to know you over the last season, and your knowledge is second to none. I think the one question I still haven't asked you is, where'd Tiki Sam's come from? Why Tiki? Why pizza?
Yeah. So in my world, Bert, you know my look, my brand, all that stuff. You've seen that. If you just take a walk through my Instagram or my Facebook, and you know that, I feel like I'm surrounded. My wife is an art teacher. I feel like I'm a pretty creative person, and so when I was thinking of, when I decided to do pizza, I'm like, okay, I gotta have a good theme, like this. So the whole idea of having a mobile wood-fired oven kind of struck a chord with me, and I said, let's call it. And this was my first iteration of a brand. I said, let's call it Gypsy Sam's, right? And I was gonna have a whole gypsy theme, like a gypsy circus wagon and all of that. And so coming from IT, my first thought was I got to get all the domains, right? Like Sam's Pizza and the Facebook handle and the Instagram and all that. So when I started with Facebook, I went there and I did it, and they wouldn't let me have it because they said gypsy was a racial slur. And so I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. Okay, well, back to the drawing board, and I was talking to my friend down in Toledo, who kind of started me on this path. Pepperoni Tony's his name, And I was looking through his photos of his oven and stuff like that. Well, his brother had built an oven, and it looked like a tiki guy. And like the mouth, the hole, you know, where you put the pizzas in was the mouth. And I thought, that's pretty fucking cool. I want to do a tiki oven. And so, you know, I started playing with it, and I'm like, you know, Tiki Sam's, it's got a lot of steaming options. I can go the whole tiki route, and I love that kitschy stuff anyway. You know, the whole subculture of you know, muscle cars and, you know, Creature from the Black Lagoon, clocks on the wall that the tail wags back and forth like the Kit Kat clocks. And this is a whole kitschy, you know, pink flamingos kind of thing. So that's kind of my vibe anyway. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do that. We just kind of built it out from there.
That's awesome. That's I've seen you've been doing this, you said 6 years. I've been to you now have a shop. What caused you to want to get a shop going?
Well, I live on a pretty busy road, Moscow Road. You're familiar with it.
Yep.
And it's, you know, so when we first moved there about 11 years ago, there was a gas station there. And about 6 years ago, maybe, about what time I started my food truck, a Little Caesars went in with the gas station. They rebuilt the whole thing from the ground up, put in a Little Caesars, and they were there, I don't know, 5 years. And then right before the pandemic started, they shut down. My understanding is they got in an argument with the landlord over something stupid, and so they pulled out. Like, they were gone literally the next day. And so I saw it, and I looked at it for a year. I saw it sitting there. I drive by it twice a day, driving into Gordon's or whatever. I drive by it every day, and I just see it sitting there empty, you know. So I started thinking about it, and I'm like, maybe I ought to stop in there and see how much rent is or whatever, you know. So I finally, last year in January 14th, I remember the day very clearly, I get a phone call from corporate, and they told me, you know, hey, we'd love to rent the space to you. What do you want to do? I told them I want to put in a pizza joint. It'd been a pizza joint. There was nothing in it. It was a completely empty shell. And so they gave me a really awesome deal. I said, I'll take it. I signed a lease, and so I put together a pizza shop. That's been my whole, you know, existence last year is, you know, putting together the shop and putting the equipment in there, dialing process. A lot different than a food truck, I'll tell you that.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, I mean, I've been lucky enough to tour your shop, and the pizza oven that you have is absolutely amazing, and the staff that works there is second to none too. I was talking with another food truck yesterday who works with family, and I know that the majority of your employees are family. Can you kind of share the struggles or even the successes you have with, you know, working with family?
So, you know, Bert, here's the thing. So, like, I love having my family there because the reason they're there is they want the business to be successful, right? And that's been on the food truck. So everybody that I have working for me right now has been working for me from day one. I have some people that have come in and out of the business, and they're family friends, you know. And they come back on occasion, you know, if they come home from college, you know, they'll come and do a stint with us. If they're home in the summertime, hey, can I pick up a couple of shifts on the food truck? Yeah, absolutely. And we'll always be happy to have them back. But on the day-to-day, I got 5 or 6 people that have been with me, and they're all my family. They're either my direct, you know, my kids, right? So all four of my kids work in the pizza business with me, and my wife. She's been instrumental in the whole in the success of our operation. And I tell people that are just starting off, if you do not have the support of your spouse, don't do it. Walk away, because you will fail. Eventually, it will fail.
Yeah.
I think it's so important to have spousal support. And in my IT job, when I got let go from that job after 17 years, just because they were downsizing or whatever. And when that happened, I was very defeated. I went to my wife and I said, "So what should I do?" And I had already been going with the pizza business for about a year, and she said, "Well, why don't you just make something out of that? You've been doing that, and it's really good." And so with that encouragement and with her behind me 100%, it's where it is today, So anyway, having family on board, I don't see many downfalls to it, except I have a constant fear of, like, I don't want bad relationships in my family, like me, Bert, I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm a pretty caring guy. I love people. I love my family.
Yeah.
And I don't want to fuck that up, like that's pretty important to me, that I maintain those relationships, and because that's more important to me than anything.
Absolutely.
So I would give up all the pizza business to maintain relationships with my family, right?
Yeah.
So that's constantly on my mind, like keeping them happy, keeping them motivated, and keeping the morale up and that kind of thing. So,
Have things gotten heated on the truck during service or anything where there's an awkward day the next day?
Always, we're out at Meckley's and we're, I know Bert talked a lot about Meckley's on this show, but, we're out there and we're trying to, in a 5-hour span, we're trying to crank out 200 to 250 pies. I mean, yeah, shit gets hectic, But at the end of the day, I can honestly say that we always are able to hug it out and tell each other we love you. I love you guys, and you guys did a great job today. And
I tell you, if I had to go back home and see my number 2 guy on some of these days, I don't know that one of us would be alive. So for me to have a buffer for a 12-hour period.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. We really try at events, if we're at an event or if we're at a catering or something, we really try and have a good time, right? Like we more often than not, we're having a good time while we're doing it. I've always got music playing. I got stupid jokes. All my staff hate my jokes. If I hear somebody order a margarita pizza, I say, that's a pizza, not a drink, right? And then, or hey, I'm gonna need to see your ID on that. If I see an older lady ordering a margarita, I say, ma'am, we're gonna have to see your ID, please. Haha. The crew they all groan. Oh, stop it, Sam. Stop! Don't stop with them dumb jokes, But
See,
they only get cheesier from there. That's what I always tell them. Hey guys, my jokes are only cheesier.
So I mean, I've been lucky enough to park next to you for a 4-day festival, and I'll tell you what, it's a party over there. I mean, you're well known around the area. You're like I said, your knowledge to me has been invaluable. I know that you and I talk a lot, and I appreciate every conversation we have. Talk a little bit about your son, if you can, because I believe, isn't he part of the United States pizza team?
Yeah. So my son Max has been with me since we started, and of course he's my son. And he's really taken. He really loves pizza, and so he asked me when he was younger. I said to him, I went to a pizza show one time, and I said, "Hey Max, they got this team where they do where they do they do competition, and they have acrobatics, like tossing dough, like dough spinning and that kind of thing. And then they have competitions in the areas of how fast can you fold a pizza box, how big can you stretch a dough, how fast can you stretch dough, and I think there was as big as fastest, yeah. And so anyway, they had that competition, and he's like, yeah, I want to do that. And so we called up Brian Hernandez is the guy's name. We called him up, and Brian says, yeah, we'd love to have Max on the team. And then Max kind of took it from there. He stayed in contact with Brian. He got on the team, and then in 2019, we went down to Toledo, Ohio to a food show, and Max competed for the first time down there, and on the U.S. pizza team, and he did fastest. So 6 boxes or 5 boxes, you got to fold 5 pizza boxes as fast as you can. He did 5 in 30 seconds. It was really quite impressive.
Wow.
And then he did, how big can you stretch a dough? He did pretty good on that one. And then how fast can you stretch out 5? You get 5 doughs. How fast can you get them to a certain size? And he did those, and all of that was broadcast on ESPN on the Ocho, right? And so Max got quite a bit of publicity from that for himself and for my shop, or for the food truck at the time, And so now he just competed most recently in Chicago at and there's a whole story about it. If you go through back to October, if you go back to October on Facebook, there's a whole story and a write-up that a guy did about Max and his, so we were doing Chicago style, or he did Chicago style pizza. That was he did a deep dish and a thin crust. And he really enjoys the competition. He enjoys being a part of it. And I love having him do it. Like, it's just like he's taken it under his wing, and he's gotten really good at it. So
that's really cool. See, coming from two barbecue guys who started their careers competing, to hear that there's pizza making contests and things like that is pretty cool.
Oh yeah. There's a big competition out in Vegas every year, and some of the guys that go out and compete in Las Vegas, when they win those contests, it brings quite a bit of business into their pizza shops or their truck or whatever. Because there's a definite, just like I'm sure at barbecue competition, there's a definite bragging right that you get when you win a national competition, right? Like, when you have the best, like my buddy Charlie he's out at Hudson and Packard. He won second place in the Detroit style pizza contest, and when he got back home to where is he at? He's in New York. But when he got back home, like it went off the rails for him. Like, he went from selling, if he was selling 100, he's selling 300 pizzas a day now. It's ridiculous. So.
Well, that's pretty. Yeah, I mean, we have the same. I mean, barbecue competitions kind of exploded when the first season of Barbecue Pitmasters came out about 15 years ago, Skippy, I think. And yeah, I mean, for us, it's all bragging rights. None of us, we're all second family, pretty much. A lot of us have seen each other's kids grow up together at competitions, and the food truck community is a lot like competition barbecue community, in my opinion, where no one wants to see each other fail, really, unless there's really a douchebag in the group, which there are. But yeah, I mean, everybody's willing to help out somebody else.
Well, here's the thing, and I've talked to Bert about this. And, like, I don't ever want to be that guy. I don't want to be the douche of the group. Like, of Jackson. Jackson's a small community. I mean, a small town, and there's not, there's a good chunk of food trucks there. But like, it's my goal to bring those trucks together because, in my experience, food trucks, and it's limited. I'm sure there's guys out there who've been doing it longer than me, but in my experience, there's enough, you know, at an event, there's more than enough business for everybody. You know, like we can all stay really busy, unless you have such a niche item, you know, like you might not, you might not get as much business as, you know, say Bird, who always sells out. But you know, like I feel like, you know, like we do need to come together. We do need to be a cohesive unit, because when things like a township decides they're going to have a fee, like it would be better for us to all come together rather than just me bitching at them. You know, like
Yeah.
I'd rather have the force of, you know, here's 20 trucks giving you the middle finger because you guys are a bunch of jackasses trying to take more money out of our pocket because you feel like, you know, whatever, you got a hair up your butt about it or whatever. I don't know.
Because one restaurant owner complains.
Go off on that tangent.
we've
been there.
Sam, we've talked at length about that in previous episodes, so I think we're all on the same page when it comes to that crap.
Yeah, I mean,
Hold on. Since we're talking about it, let me just give you what my idea is, okay? My idea, and this might not be a popular opinion, but here's my idea. Okay, what would it look like if we all of us food trucks, you know, the Jackson Food Truck Association, the Grand Rapids, we all got together and we approached the Michigan Restaurant Association, and we said, hey, instead of just being the Restaurant Association, why don't we be the Restaurant Food Truck Association? We'll up your membership, and then you're going to give us some lobbying power. And then there's one fucking license for the whole state of Michigan. It's called an STFU. We all got them, and we don't have to pay into all these little freaking townships that want $100, $200 just to operate in their vicinity, you know, because it's a cash grab. It always is. Never is it a real reason. It's just a cash grab. So if there's a state level, I don't know, law, I don't know what it is, a law or whatever, that says, look, food trucks can operate anywhere in the state as long as they have this Michigan level license, which we all have. And, you know, we're not paying into all these little municipalities that say, hey, food trucks, there's a little, I mean, really, how much did that township make off of us by charging us $250, $3,000? Dude, come on. And all they did was make themselves, now they're on my list, right? And everybody else's list as being non-food truck friendly. Like, if anyone says, hey, in Jackson, are there any non-food truck friendly places? Yep, and I'll tell you what they are. I'm not going to mention them by name, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Well, I even do that. I mean, in this area,
that was my little rant.
I like it, and I'm gonna continue on that rant. I mean, we have the same thing over here, and if I have people looking for us to come out to a non-food truck friendly area, I'll let them know point blank that the reason we're not going out there is because the township is a pain to work with, and they don't want us there. And in hopes that we can get the community behind what is a growing food truck movement too. I don't know the perfect way to do fees and licenses and stuff. There's got to be a better way. I can kind of see,
and I think it's at a state level, but you need lobbying power. And of all the lobbyists that I know, the Michigan Restaurant Association has one of the most powerful lobbying groups in the state. I'm connected with a couple of people who are familiar with that whole arena, you know, and they have a very powerful lobbying group. And so, you know, if they had, I mean, you think about how many food trucks are in the state of Michigan, and we can jump in and say, you know, hey, we'll bring 1,000 people to your membership, 1,000, you know, memberships to your organization. You start doing some lobbying for us. And I don't know, maybe it's a conflict of interest for the restaurants and the food trucks, because they always seem to be at each other's throat too, because...
How is it any different than any other competition though?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I know that, there's another pizza guy in Jackson, and if he shows up to an event, I always go over and, hey, how's it going, man? I hope you have a great day today, because I don't have competition. I have friends that make pizza, right? Like, that's how I feel about it. Like,
Yep.
people know me. If they want my pizza, they're gonna come and get it. It's just like if you and Bert showed up at the same event. Look, man, I don't have, my philosophy has always been, I don't have competition in the pizza business. I have friends that make pizza.
Right.
And so
it would totally be a competition for me and Bert, though.
Yes, it would absolutely.
Okay. Well, I'll let you guys beat each other's asses out back while I scoop up all the.
Yeah, you keep selling pizza.
So.
Yeah, he's going to keep selling pizza while we're hurting each other. Because that's what barbecue guys do.
Yeah, it's all friendly competition, but yeah, it's still, I mean, we're going to compare notes at the end of the day for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So kind of moving
Anyway.
with that little bit of a segue, I guess. Bert and I have talked extensively about what kind of makes a good day for us as a food truck, and knowing full well that that's not the same for every truck going forward. I mean, I've heard some of these other trucks that do festivals on the regular doing $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 days, and that's just not possible for me. So for me, a good solid day is around $2,000. Would you say you're north or south of that for what you consider a good day?
I would say that's a good day for me. Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be a great day. That'd be a good day for me. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. So yeah, it's good to, I mean, because some of the, do you sell out?
Oh yeah. Okay. He sells out.
And the thing is, so for me, the biggest problem that I have, especially in the summer, is the dough. Like, it'll start as soon as we put it in the truck, take it out of the fridge and stick it in the truck, it starts proofing immediately. And so, because we use fresh dough to make all the pizzas, and the problem comes if it's a 90-degree day out. I can't get through all the dough that I can bring if it's really hot, because the dough will start to puff up, and like, it becomes an issue. Like, dough management is a huge problem. And so, if I bring 200 pizza doughs, by the time we get to 160, they're starting to be stuck together and super puffy and hard to work with. So we've had to, I've had to come up with a few different solutions for dough management, which, I feel are pretty good ones, and they work, and we're able to, still bring enough dough. But it's at some events I get really surprised. Like, I've gotten pretty good at guessing how much to bring. But at some events, like, Bert, I think you were there with me. We did this thing at the Jackson Fairgrounds, and
Oh yeah.
I brought what I thought. I didn't think it was going to be anything, that big or anything. But it was a hot day, so I ended up taking my lemonade joint too, fresh squeezed lemonade. And we were so busy, I had to call and have them bring more supplies of everything, more pepperoni, more dough, more cheese, everything. And so, that's one of the benefits of having family, that they can jump in the cooler and bring more stuff. But yeah, so it's those in the summer. It's tough with the dough, So, but yeah, we sell out. That was your original question, I think. Did we sell out? Yeah, we, unfortunately, and to the chagrin of everyone that shows up late, yeah, we sell out, and we hear about it. It's one of our most common complaints.
What did you tell me though? It's always like that's kind of the goal, is to sell out.
Well, I feel like, if you sell out, it creates like with the shop now, it's a little less, but it creates an anticipation for people. I like selling out right at the end. Like, okay, we sold out, we've only got 20 minutes left or whatever. That's the goal, right? Like figure that out and you're going to win.
But to sit there for 2 extra hours is kind of tough.
Yeah, to sit there for 2 extra hours and watch all them dollars walk by.
Yeah.
Tell me, that's why I try and get the hell out if I can. Like, park near the end and stay attached and get out if you sell out, because I don't want to watch all that money walk by.
Exactly.
Painful. Brutal.
Well, yeah, a sellout, selling out and having those complaints is kind of the best compliment, at least for me, So, and I think the majority of especially our regular customers know that and that's why we have lines a lot of the time as we open, because they know if they want what they want, then if they're going to get what they want, then they need to come early. So,
sure, Tiki, I do a vending. Go ahead.
I was gonna say just so you know, so Josh sets up at least 6 days a week from like 11 to 6, 11 to 7, somewhere around there. You and I set up pretty much in the afternoons. And are you moving towards pretty much just events and then keeping the shop open daily? Is that the end goal, is to kind of have not be roadside?
So I don't roadside ever, to be honest with you. I do events and catering. Those are my two main things that I've done with the food truck. Not to say I haven't roadsided before. I have done that. However, it's a really hard thing, like I was alluding to with the dough management. That's a tough thing, right? Like, like with barbecue, I feel like you can, you're bringing it in, and if you don't sell everything that you brought, you could probably use it the next day and be okay, right? Like, maybe that's just an assumption on my part.
There are a lot of trucks that do that.
Okay.
I'm not one of them, and Skippy's not one of them. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So for me, it's hard because, like, if I don't sell what I bring, then it gets tossed. Yep. And that could be a problem.
Yeah, and it just hurts anytime you have to throw away food.
Oh, bro, you know what it is. Like, you guys as barbecue guys, because like shit's not cheap anymore. Like, I used to pay when I first started this, and I buy really good ingredients. Like my pepperoni is, I want to say it's $160 for 25 pounds right now, and that's not the cheap. Bacon is the most expensive thing I have right now at $8.50 a pound. When I started, that same box of pepperoni was around $80, so it's doubled in price since I started. And with food costs the way that they are, I don't have margins to just throw shit away at the end of the day if I don't sell it, right? Well, now it's a little different with the shop, because I feel like if I had stuff left, I could take it down to the shop and use it there, kind of thing. But it's that same story. You just want to. So that's the reason I don't do roadsiding a lot.
Yeah.
And in the summer we're pretty booked with catering, and like the month of June I don't do any events because all I do is catering. It's all open houses and corporate lunches, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So you have a. Can you describe your trailer a little bit, like what you're currently using, and then maybe what you're going to?
Sure. So my first iteration was a little tiny trailer. If you guys, I don't know if you put pictures with or anything with this, but if you go and look on my Facebook, it's at Tiki Sam's Pizza for Facebook and Instagram. You'll see my original trailer with a tiny little oven that me and my kid built in my barn, and it could do 2 pizzas at a time. And I thought I was just God tier when I built that thing. I was like, oh my God, I'm so awesome. And we went out to our first event, and I realized at that moment we need a bigger oven. Year one, I had that tiny guy, and all my pizzas were $10. That's it. You wanted a Supreme, $10. You wanted the cheese, $10. Everything was $10. And it didn't matter. I would, and then I realized, maybe I'm not making any money here. I need to, charge more for this kind of pizza over that. Second year, I went over the winter. I went down to Elkhart, Indiana, and I met up with the trailer place down there. It's Forest River is the trailer company. Met up with their cargo division and designed a trailer and put an order in for it and had it built. That trailer had it was a 16-foot base model. I had a special door built on the back of it, not the tail end of it, but the side of it, that the oven would point out of that door. And by having it built at the factory, the framing was all like legit and everything. And I ordered an oven from California. They import them from Italy, and it came as a kit. Me and my son built that. Tony came up from Toledo and helped me put it together. So we built that. It took us about 2 months to build it because it's so big and heavy. Like it's a 4-foot interior oven, and I can cook 8 pizzas at a time in it. It's pretty, and it weighs like 3,000 pounds. The thing's so heavy. And so we build that oven in the garage, and then the trailer gets done. We get it, I go down and pick it up. We install the oven, we install the make table, get all that stuff in there. And so the kitchen is about, I think it's 7.5 feet wide by about 10 feet. So that's the kitchen area where they stretch the dough and make the pizzas. They come out the window to me, I put them in the oven, or whoever's on oven. The stick man, we call them. The stick man cooks the pizzas, and then they get delivered to the customer. So that first trailer that I had, though, that it was cargo made. That first trailer, my wife had hand painted it. She's, like I alluded to earlier, she's an art teacher, and she makes everything I do look really good. So she did all the artwork on it, hand painted. I was in year 2 with that trailer, and I was coming home from Uncle John's Cider Mill. After a really good day, we sold out in record time up there. I was coming home. It was in September. I think it was September 9th, to be exact. And I was on Moscow Road, a mile from my house, and some lady came over the center line and missed my truck, fortunately, but plowed into the side of the trailer and just obliterated it, like knocked the axles right off the trailer. She hit me so hard. So she was texting or something like that. Unfortunately, she had 3 kids in the back of her car. Nobody was hurt. That was the really fortunate thing. Nobody was hurt in that accident. But my trailer was not repairable. It was not, So we were able to save the oven, fortunately. I had them tow it to my house because it was only a mile away. And then every day for the next month, I had to look at it when I walked out the door and cry all over again, right? Fortunately, I had good insurance on it. So, and this will be of interest to food truckers out there. So my insurance that I had at that time, and I still have it to this day, was for the trailer, was commercial insurance. I encourage you, if you don't have commercial insurance on your truck and trailer, please do it. It actually is cheaper for me to have my truck on commercial rather than personal, my everyday driver. And then my trailer was covered for a little over the amount that I think it was $15,000. That was because I only paid like $11,000 or $12,000 for the trailer. Then I did all the work inside it myself. So insurance covered the trailer, and then and I hear a lot of people talk shit about flip, but I had flip insurance at the time because I didn't know, I'm going to get flip insurance. I got flip insurance, and when that accident happened, they paid out. without any problems at all. They covered the oven, the repair of the oven. They covered my make table, which the oven hit when it flipped, and so it destroyed the make table. The sink, it covered everything that got wrecked, and they covered it with no questions. You know, they cut me a check. Here you go. So between the check that they cut me and the check that Progressive cut for me, I was able to go down, order a new trailer. So I did that in October. I went down, ordered a new trailer, and again, this was 2019, right before the pandemic, right? And so the new trailer got on order, made it on the thing, and I fixed everything I didn't like about my first trailer. I fixed it in the second trailer, and so I was able to put in like bigger axles. So I put these, I think they're 6,500 pound axles. I got 2 of those on there. They're huge. The tires alone, probably when I got to replace them, are going to be so expensive. but the I was able to. I added on 2 feet. I made the kitchen a little, so the kitchen could be a little bigger. I put fiberglass walls in it. They did down at the factory. I put the electricity exactly where I wanted it. So I had all that done through with the insurance money, and I got the trailer. Like I said, everything I didn't like about that first trailer, I had fixed on the second one, and so then we were ready to go by March, I think. Yeah. So I got the new trailer from the factory. I got all the equipment placed in it, and that was, a pretty painless procedure. I mean, so come time for the Mid-Michigan or the Midwinter Beer Festival, we were ready to go. And then it ended up not happening because of COVID, so in 2020. So we didn't end up doing that, but we were ready.
Well, yeah, I mean, kind of a blessing that you were able to fix everything you needed to have fixed. I mean, pretty much without any out-of-pocket expense. And right, I had flipped for.
Well, there was out-of-pocket because I improved some things in the trailer. But I will say this: for all the horror stories I hear of people, well, I had personal insurance, but it's blah blah blah, or I had commercial insurance on my truck, but not my trailer. Like, get the damn insurance. Don't cheap out of things you don't cheap out on. Don't cheap out on insurance. I mean, because the day you need it, that's the day you're going to wish you hadn't cheaped out, right? Like, so for me, like, my whole first year, I didn't have insurance. I had flipped for my food coverage, and that was it. Yeah. So if anything had happened to that trailer or anything, I would have been out, right? Yep. Whereas, like, in the second year, I'm like, I've got too much invested because I had all that shit paid off. Like, nothing, I owed on nothing, right? Like the trailer, everything. Mm-hmm. I had been able to pay cash for everything. And so I felt pretty good about that. That was the first time in my adult life that I felt like, wow, I'm really hitting it here. Like, I'm paying for all this in cash, and it's a good thing, and so anyway, I think I missed 3 events by not having the trailer after that lady wrecked it. So
that's not bad at all. I had flipped for my first year and a half. And then it was my State Farm agent asked me who we were using for commercial, and they were able to write a policy that was similar insurance for a little bit less money. So that's the only reason I switched from them. Otherwise, I mean, especially for businesses starting out, it's not badly priced. It's really reasonable for what you get. Yeah.
I mean, if you have really expensive equipment, because in their I don't know, their marine policy is what they call it. Anything that you can, if you hold the trailer by the tongue and shake it, anything that falls out, that's covered under the marine policy, right? Yep. So anything that wasn't original equipment. So like the oven, the table, all that stuff. There's not a ton of equipment to pizza. I don't know what it is for barbecue. There's a little bit more, but for pizza, you know, it's an oven, a make table, a dough stretching table, you know, 3-bay sink, you know, that kind of stuff. But,
Yeah.
So
I think I just got one more thing for you, and then we'll probably let you go and get going on your day. So you said you don't do roadside stuff, so you're not doing, I mean, like I set up for lunches at businesses and things like that. So you're not doing any of that. Are you running during the winter months? Are you open right now for catering and special events and stuff?
No. And the reason I say no is because we have to shop. And so we're trying to, like with the shop, I'm trying to dial it all in because I'm building a new truck, and my new truck is going to operate pretty similar to how my shop operates, you know, like it's going to be pizza by the slice. It's built on a 64 Chevy frame. It'll be the most unique food truck you guys have ever seen. It's pretty cool. It's almost done. I'm hoping to have that by March to take to the beer festival. So that's my plan with that. That being said, the trailer, I mean, Bert, you see my setup. You got to stand outside to cook. And on a day like today, you know, it's 26 degrees out, and it's, you know, a wind chill of whatever, 13. It's too cold. I'm not enclosed in a trailer, so there's no way in hell. I'm too old for that shit, you know. Like, that's not happening. Put it that way.
It's exactly why I'm not selling barbecue in the winter, and I switched over to paninis and soup so I can stay inside the trailer the entire time without having to go outside. And I mean, we got 16 inches of snow this last weekend, and there was a good solid 8 inches on my non-enclosed porch. So those steel doors don't open it quite as nicely.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that I you know, in Michigan, you guys know about the roads. The roads are, if it snows and the roads are icy, there's no way in hell I'm taking my trailer out. I mean, Bert, you and I have a common friend, and he sells burgers, and you know, he's a verb to me now. Like, and I'll say his name, Baby Bear. You know, if he's out all the time. This guy, he'll go out. It's snowing, the roads are bad. He don't care. He's out there, and I love that. I love his hustle. He's busting his ass every day. So in my house, we say, here, you can go Baby Bear it today, you know. He's become a verb in our vernacular that if you're out hustling every day of the week doing your shit, you're Baby Bearing it, you know.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
So, but for me, so I try and do, when I was just strictly food truck, no shop, I was trying to do November through March off. Thanksgiving's my favorite holiday. I love cooking I have like 35 people that come to my house. So I love doing that. Bert and I traded turkeys this year. I cooked one for him, he cooked one for me in our respective cooking utensils, right? So I feel like, you know, I want that time. This year we didn't quite do that because we had to shop, and so you know, I feel like you know, that's a good break. And then in Michigan, in another, you know, like I've often kicked around the idea, hey, what if we drove down to Florida and just, you know, roadside and going down to Florida, you know, or whatever. I don't know. Maybe when my wife retires, we'll do that. So.
Well, I hope you're giving
that a lot.
I hope you're giving her a good Christmas. She deserves it.
She does, and yeah, you can not put this on the podcast if you would, but yeah, she's she's today. You know, the part I'm about to tell you. So today at 3:00, she gets.
There was a small pause, and it was all gold. I was like, damn
right,
it.
Repeat what you just said, Sam.
Okay, so you want me to start with the girls part? Well,
yeah,
you know,
we always start with the girls.
I got mostly women working in my shop and on the food truck, and I got me and my son, Max and Carson, my two boys. It's us and all the ladies. And if somebody comes in and says, "Hey, are you having a good day?" I said, "Look, I'm surrounded by beautiful women. I'm making pizza. I'm living the fucking dream." Right? Like, yes, that's how I view it. I feel like, you know, in a very weird way, I feel like pizza saved my life, right? And so, doing pizza for me is a no-brainer. I will, while I do venture off a little bit and say, hey, I love doing fresh squeezed lemonade. It was, you know, it's one of the things that we do on the truck, but pizza's the main thing. And I truly feel like, you know, other guys do pizza because it's a popular food and maybe they don't love it like I do, but dude, I'm fully immersed. Bert, you've seen all my pizza tattoos.
He lives.
Julie designed them all.
He lives and breathes pizza.
I live the pizza life, just like you guys live barbecue. I know you guys do because, you know, when it's Thanksgiving and Bert has to make a turkey, he's putting it in his smoker. You know, like he's cooking it the way he cooks his barbecue and everything. So
I don't know any other way to cook
and I
a
do
turkey.
the same thing. Right. This is the thing. I'm cooking turkeys in my pizza oven, right? Like fire up the pizza oven the day before. Get it going.
Yeah, he did.
Spatchcock.
Yeah, I would say you have to.
Without talking about it, didn't we not? We didn't talk about spatchcocking,
No,
did we? And then
no, we didn't.
we both brought them, and I'm like, hey, you spatchcocked your turkey. People in the parking lot are like, well, the guys are over there talking about spatchcock. You better steer clear.
It is my favorite culinary word to throw out because no one knows what it means and it sounds completely dirty. So you did what to a turkey?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Sam, I think it's time. I think we'll let you go. We'll let you go have fun today. I thank you for all the knowledge you've given me over this last year, and thanks for being a part of our little podcast here. And you know, I wish you the best of luck going forward for sure.
One more time, quick before you hang up on us. Where can people find you on social media?
So Facebook and Instagram, Twitter at Tiki Sam's Pizza, all one word.
Perfect. Thank you, Sam. I hope you have a good day. Send our best to your family and all your employees, which is the same thing. Hope you guys have a great Christmas and good luck on the new shop and new truck. You are a very busy man, and
Thanks,
congrats on all the success, bud.
Yep. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
Oh,
I think that was right. I got rid of him. Maybe.
Right. So there's Tiki Sam's. He's if anybody finds him on Facebook, he's definitely there's no party like your Tiki Sam party. Yeah, he's a good dude. Very, very good dude.
Sorry, I'm just responding to a couple texts that I've gotten from while we were on. It's always weird when people text me about listening to the podcast while we're recording a podcast. I'm like, how are you listening to this? Then I realized it's the one that was posted.
So I brought up to him earlier about working with family because I was asked yesterday by one of our people or one of our listeners, loyal listeners, the tens you are, who work with family, and you know what's the downsides. And I like what Tiki said. You know, he works hard to keep his family happy, but if you don't have support, you're going to fail. So I like what he said there.
Sam likes to talk, and I like that because it means I didn't have to. So
yeah, at least might be another downloaded episode.
To touch on the whole family working for you, my son Ethan did a couple summers with me. Probably didn't make as much as he probably should have. He made good money, but I kept reminding him that I was paying his tuition at Michigan. So the bonus to families, you can hold stuff over their head like that. So but yeah, I mean, maybe he gets away with more than he should with cut him some slack on being late or whatever, or changing his schedule or whatever. But I know that when he's there and when he gets there, he's going to work his ass off. And he came from Taco Bell, which was a quick service, and they were a very quick Taco Bell and a high performing Taco Bell. So I knew what I was getting, and I knew I was going to get a high level of work from him. So if you can get them, they're great. And if you can depend on them, and yeah, I mean, we've definitely had some heated moments on the truck to where if it was an all family truck, there could be some awkward moments the next day or at Christmas, or some anger management books being exchanged for Christmas. I'm not sure how Chris puts up with me, but yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. We hug it out at the end of the day, and we understand that when we're doing a $1,400 hour, that things are going to get stressed and things might get said that, not that we don't necessarily mean, but in a tone that isn't what it should be.
Yeah, I think my wife and I, she supports me, and I'm eternally grateful for that. But we've come to the decision that the only time I will ask her to work with me is if there's nobody else left on earth. She's very good at what she does, but she's also her and I styles don't match when I'm supposed to be the boss. But yeah, I think as long as true.
You can't be the boss at home, and you can't be the boss in your own damn truck. God.
No, it's horrible. And yeah, we'll leave it at that. I think I'm happy that Sam gets to work with his family all the time. One thing he didn't mention is one of his employees is his sister, who actually drives almost 40 minutes a day just to work with him. Just because of, I think, the way I see him and his whole staff work is they all are about his brand, and they live his brand. I mean, if there's videos on Facebook, and y'all can go see them, but I mean, he does have music blaring, and he's got people that, he has a little megaphone that he yells people's orders out, and
I want one bad. Just like a karaoke speaker with a microphone.
Harbor Freight. It was just a little handheld microphone. It was cool.
We have a hard time having people hear us, especially if we're with other trucks and stuff.
And you have smaller windows than I do, and the people still have a hard time hearing. I have to yell for people to hear sometimes. But I think the way his family works is everybody does their part, and I love the fact that everybody knows how to do everything there. And yeah, I think he's definitely successful. He's one of the top 3 in our Jackson little food truck.
I was scrolling through his Facebook. I saw that he was there in the baby bear.
Yeah.
Which I thought was odd that he brought up, but yeah, I mean, good for him. So he didn't win. I can take it.
No, he's top 3. So the
it's still going. That's right. Okay.
Final voting actually ended Sunday, I think. So, but they're not going to announce anybody until March, I think, which is weird, but whatever.
So we've talked a lot about margins over the last couple episodes and things like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so I like that he was willing to answer at least a couple semi-financial questions. Clearly he's freaking killing it and making money. He bought a shop, so he's brick and mortar is coming, and another truck. So he'll be a truck, a trailer, and a brick and mortar.
Yeah.
And for him to say that $2,000 was a very good day for him, kind of similar to us.
Yeah.
But I'm going to guess that his margin is much higher than what ours is.
I would assume so. I mean,
for the size of the staff that he has.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good for him. But this goes to show you how tight barbecue can be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we joke
some flour and water added into some doughs, I think. Flour and water's cheap.
Right. No, we joke with, he brought up Baby Bear. We joke with Baby Bear because he's changing his, we love him, but he changes his menu all the time. And when I dropped off the turkey, we said, yeah, I'm just waiting for Baby Bear to be able to figure out how to cook pizzas on his grill, on his flat top.
I mean, there was a time there you were flirting with you didn't say no to anybody. You did a special event they wanted a Bavarian menu, and you're like, okay.
You know what? So it's just to see if I could do it. And I did it. So kiss my butt. Anyway, so how was your we got to get back into this. Maybe we can put this at the front of the podcast, but
Yeah, we'll do it. Well, this will definitely be a two-parter because we probably got another 20 minutes to go, I'm guessing.
No, we're fine. How was your week?
Trying to remember last week. Not horrible. So we switched to Wednesday, Thursday. We cut out Tuesday, moved our normal Tuesday location to Thursdays, just so we were doing 3 days in a row instead of breaking it up 1 day on, 1 day off, 2 days on, whatever. So yeah, Wednesday at the Spectrum Health Place was good. That was our busiest one over the summer. We did it one other time in the winter so far, and that was the day after Thanksgiving, and it was dead. So it was good to see that rebounded to a level we were more expecting.
So can I interrupt?
Yes.
What's good?
You haven't asked that yet.
Well, I've been thinking it for the past month, but
I know. So here's kind of where my baseline is. Enough to be able to pay to cover the food, Pam's labor, which is nothing because she doesn't let me pay her anything. And then Chris's labor or salary through the winter. If I can cover those three things, it's a good week. So if we can hit like 1,000 to 1,200 a week, I'm covering everything, and then there's a little bit left over at the end too.
Okay.
So I'm not covering all our monthly expenses, but it's definitely helping.
Yeah.
So
okay. Because you keep saying it's good, and I'm trying to figure out what good actually means. Because I know what good in barbecue means, but good in soups and sandwiches.
Really, and the number is weird because it's if we can get to like 300 to 400 a day, we're going to cover expenses. So, which seems like a super low number for us, and how we got those numbers for barbecue lunches.
my good for the 3 days that I was trying to do this was like 500 a week.
Yeah,
like, that was good for me.
500 a week or 500 a day?
500 a week.
Okay. Because
I was setting up. I don't set up for lunches, so it's like I had to build a whole new area in less than a month.
Yeah.
So and we'll get to that when we go over what I've done, but it was, that's good for me. Is like 500 a week.
Yeah. So we did like 400 on Wednesday. And then Thursday at the Dutton Marathon, which caused some confusion with people I think it was a little bit slower because it was a different day in a different spot or whatever. It was a little bit slower, but I think we still did like 3. So between the 2 days was 7. I mean, so we were right on pace average wise for the 1,000. Yeah. And then we had a catering for Tesla, one of Tesla's small manufacturing things, 120 people on staff there. They did a holiday lunch that they brought us in for
had to break out the smoker again
for $20 a head. Yeah, I did for 100 people. That's a level that I'm okay with. And all that day, I was like, I don't know why I decided to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
No matter the money, you're still kicking yourself in the ass.
Yeah, it's like it's just such a pain in the ass to switch back and forth and to do barbecue just one day, even if we weren't doing anything else, just to dirty everything for a day.
Yeah,
it's like the more I've done 6 days a week of barbecue, the more I don't want to do these one-offs. So, but I'll continue to do them because I mean, it's a $2,000 lunch that we're making 1,500 on.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
Which goes a long ways to helping those other slow weeks. And
I get it for sure.
It's hard to turn down, but you know what? The trailer's still a mess. And after I got done with it, it's like I got like 5 days before we're open again, so I can take my time on cleaning this mess up. And then I walked in while we were in the middle of our blizzard, just make sure everything was still running inside. The heater was running and stuff because I had a GFI trip on my Christmas lights. So I just want to make sure everything else was good. And I walk in, I was like, oh fuck. I didn't clean this mess up yet. So the downside of having 5 days off after you kind of let things sit probably longer than they should. So but yeah, it is what it is.
I'm not judging you.
Yeah. Nothing tripped on the trailer, which is good news. Everything is hunky-dory in there. And just the Christmas light, one of the plugs got wet, and so I had to try to let that dry out in 30-degree snowing weather.
For sure.
They're all back on. which is the important thing. But yeah, it was 64 in the trailer this morning when I went out there. So we're hanging out right there, and the 3-bay sinks are warm because I got that other heater blowing right underneath that cabinet. So yeah, everything's kind of holding where it's supposed to be. We're going to do one day this week on Wednesday. And then that's going to be it for us. I think for the year, we're going to take next week off. Kind of reset. Wasn't expecting a whole lot out of business anyways, just with people being off, and lots of vacations happening. So, and be able to spend some time with family. And looks like we have the weather for winter activities, and some of the local small ski hills that do tubing and stuff are going to be open earlier than they have been the last 5 years at least. So yeah, looking forward to doing some of that stuff and kind of relaxing a little bit. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, we've been hitting. They're talking about having us come out for a lunch or two a month, just to set up in their area. There's like 6 other businesses, including a business, Train, who we've done 2 catered events for and got probably 15 regular customers off of those catered events that come to us at least once a week. So being in that little business park area would be a good lunch for us. And then yeah, we're taking requests for coats left and right. And then it is now apparently application season for vending right now, because my email is blowing up and I can't keep up on what's what. You had sent me the one that GR Foodie Fest, whatever, that they're doing 3 events. Are you gonna check out the one in Calhoun?
Yeah, I already signed up for that one.
600, is it? So it's $600 for the 3 days? Is that right? Because it's $100 deposit and then $500 for the.
No, the one for Calhoun is $275 and it's one day.
Well, I guess mine's
11, it's 11 to 8.
Yeah, so ours is 3 days, 11 to.
Yeah,
11 to 8, 11 to 11, and then 11 to 6.
Yeah, I saw that one. That's gonna be a lot.
Yeah,
that'll be a lot.
My staff will love it, and I will be at home drinking adult beverages and lighting fireworks on Saturday. So they'll be well taken care of for that.
So enough about you.
Yeah,
my week.
No one cares.
I don't either. I went to urgent care on Tuesday. They told me I had bronchitis, gave me some medication. Basically stayed home until Friday. Went out from 11 to 4. It's like, would I send you $300 somewhere on there? I had the same lady come back twice. She came back for herself or stopped for herself originally, then went and picked up her kids and stopped and get dinner for her kids. So I thought that was pretty cool. I've got regulars that are coming back to the same spot. So I think this spot's going to be good for the spring, as I'm done for the rest of the year. I went to a little holiday market on Saturday. It was slow in the middle of nowhere, and I felt so bad for all the vendors because they literally had 12 people through the door, and most of the vendors came out to me to get food. So I think I made more than everybody. It was a couple $100. And then yesterday, drove an hour and 20 minutes to West Bloomfield to do a little community event. Got to meet Santa. Santa said I've been a good boy all year. I said that's been debatable, but I was able to take a picture with him after he got his brisket because Santa knows where to get the brisket from. And I got to hear Carol of the Bells, which is my favorite Christmas song, twice. It was freezing cold, and I'm going to sit home for the next 3 months. Well, if I do, I'm going to probably try to get some caterings. I'm probably going to drop off some flyers at local businesses just with our packages and let them know that we're available for holiday parties and stuff of that nature.
A thought for you.
Oh, I like thoughts.
And for me too, and I thought about it for the last couple of years, is sending out a holiday / thank you card to all of our location.
Yeah.
Your Santa picture would be perfect for it. Just get them on a postcard and send them out, and just a thank you for having us this year. And, just to keep you at the top of mind for anything going forward.
Yeah. I like that idea.
I didn't get to it this year either, but it's something that's always, when I'm doing our personal Christmas cards, like really should send out something to, and I could just do our normal Christmas cards and send them, but
they don't know who you are.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Who are all these kids? Did he hire some? Did he hire some little people?
Child labor laws don't take them for family, which is the best reason to hire family. So yeah, just a thought for you. I think that would be good for all food trucks to do.
Yeah, I would agree.
Especially if you are, it's been a multi-year thing and they don't do a lot of trucks and you are, I mean, yeah, it's nice to send it out and just to give thanks, and gratitude pays dividends 1,000%. So
hey, even if it arrives late, it still arrives.
That's right. Yep, there is no timetable on gratitude, everybody. And I'm super grateful for all of the opportunities we've had that have either paid off or led to other opportunities, or even the duds that we've had have been learning experiences. So everything is fruitful if you look at it the right way. So
absolutely,
it's been a good year. I'm hoping next week we can dive a little bit deeper into our stuff for your end of year stuff. It might have to wait another week. I don't know. I'm
going to be doing some secretarial stuff here shortly.
This week is pretty busy for me. I just got a text last night from my ex saying that she and her significant other both tested for COVID positive yesterday. After they just held a family Christmas for her side of the family. So I'm picking my daughter up who tested negative in about 2 hours now.
It's just the flu. There's no COVID anymore.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm picking up my daughter to kind of shield her from that. Hopefully she still tests negative in another 2 days before we expose the entire side of my family.
Yay. The gift that keeps on giving.
I love COVID. But yeah, my daughter's had it twice already. She would have to be pretty unlucky to get it 3 times. She might disown us all and move out.
Hey, she is a Hans.
I've toted my superior genes, and I think people are going to stop believing me. Either that or I just didn't pass them on, because I don't get sick often. And this crap that everybody else is getting, the respiratory stuff right now, I have got a very mild case of it right now, and I hope it stays that way. So
for your sake,
I'm on week 5 of, she still's not talking. She still talks like a blues singer.
Oh, but she can type real good though. All right, I think it's time to say goodbye.
Well, fine then. One quick thing more. The message I got, Chad Urbanovic, I think it was him. Yes. Was listening to the podcast. Thought that I said that I'd have to spend thousands to set up another 50 amp for the house, because I'd have to upgrade my service from a 100 to 200 amp service.
Yeah.
So he asked if I thought about setting up a separate electric hookup for a different meter. Yes, I did. And it would cost me more because they would have to run a secondary line from the street to the meter, which is how that works, which would cost more for them to do that. Since it's all buried, I'd rather not go through that. To upgrade the panel shouldn't be too bad. I probably am exaggerating hugely on the thousands of dollars, but not only
you only have a 100 amp panel.
Yeah,
I'm surprised. I figured new constructions would at least have it. Like, I have an older house and mine's a 200 amp panel.
It was probably upgraded before you bought it.
Maybe.
Would be my guess. I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure it's only a 100 amp panel. Maybe it is a 200 amp panel.
I thought 200 amp was close to being standard.
Yeah, maybe. Either way,
it's so much more electrical.
Comfortable putting another 50 amp that's running on it. So yeah, maybe I do have to go to a separate panel, which will be awesome, because with that comes the extra meter fees and service charges on a separate bill.
It's only money. They print it every day.
And since my dad, who works for Great Lakes, not Great, oh my gosh, Midwest Energy. Wow. Freudian slip. He worked there for like 100 years. Isn't listening to this podcast at all. I can say that the electric companies rob us blind with all their fees that don't need to be paid. I shouldn't have to pay an electric bill if I don't use any electricity. And he would say, I'll happily come out and disconnect you.
Happily.
He said, you're paying for the opportunity to have it whenever you want.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, stop bitching about your electric rates, everybody.
You can bitch about natural gas, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
All right, that sounds good. I guess we'll wrap it up. Maybe you got things to do. I got things to do. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Episode 22 it comes to a close. Thanks again to Sam from Tiki Sam's.
Wood-fired pizza.
Wood-fired pizza. Every time I typed it in Facebook, it was Sam's Tiki too. I couldn't get it right in my freaking head. So Tiki Sam's out of Jackson. Really appreciate him coming on and giving us a different perspective on everything. And you hanging out with him now makes sense to me why you were pushing so hard to look at property.
I know. Whatever.
But yeah, thanks everybody. We hope you all have a Merry Christmas, because that will have already passed by the time this episode gets posted. So we'll see you on the other side of Christmas. Enjoy all your holidays. Be safe. If you're on the west side of Michigan, be ready for the snow again. Another 12 to 18, I think is what they said, for the lakeshore. So bundle up. Have a good one, guys. Talk to you soon.
Guys.